party hats. Boom, boom.
The whole go bang bang here. Let us begin.
I want you to keep an eye out for the Boogity Man.
VHS Bandits.
Boogie! Boogie! Boogie!
VHS Bandits.
Welcome to Coxwell
Don't
Academy.
need no DVDs, don't need no Betamax. These are the VHS Bandits.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of VHS Bandits. This week we watched Deep Rising. Let's pop in the tape.
Welcome to the greatest pleasure ship ever built. Good times forever! I have something here, sir. I've never seen anything like this.
It's a malfunction, sir.
That's impossible. Where are they coming from?
I don't know, sir, but whatever it is, it's, big.
They answered a distress call.
Where the hell is everybody?
Now,
What the hell was that?
they're dead in the water.
I got a really bad feeling about this.
The ship's infested. Let's get the hell out of here!
What the hell is that?
The girl from Ipanema.
I don't mean to sound like a wuss, but this is starting to freak me out, man.
I vote we leave. Who votes we leave?
Deep Rising.
And now, our feature presentation.
Hey everybody, welcome again to this week's episode of VHS Bandits. I am the Kevbot. Here with me, as always, is the Deep Dane Train and the Tide Pooled Hofer Hansen and our special guest, Kevin.
Hey.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, we're going to take a dip today.
And we watch
so
Deep Rising.
there you go. So we got Kevin James, one of my old college buddies from Fitchburg State, back when it was still called Fitchburg State, not University. Mm-hmm. And so Kevin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a filmmaker. I'm a video producer. I also have a podcast I do with my friends Ryan Murphy and Neil Cicerega called Guaranteed Audio. We make a lot of short, goofy movies. I've actually had Dane do some light acting for me before. I say light because it was all one take.
Hey, he's a one take wonder. I am a one take machine.
and most importantly, I am a supporter of the show. I'm actually a Patreon backer, and I've been listening to this show for years, and it's hilarious to for those at home who don't know, I'm seeing all three of you on my Skype screen, and I've heard Kevbot do the intro.
See us.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What do you mean? It can think.
I've heard Kev do so many introductions to this show, but actually seeing you do it on screen was kind of surreal. Like you take
what a dope.
I don't know, in my mind's eye, it just wasn't there that someone was actually saying it. So now I don't know. It's crazy to actually be on the show. And if I'm going to pimp one last thing that I've done, I made a documentary. It's available now on Amazon and Vimeo, and soon iTunes and DirecTV. Not for resale, a video game store documentary. It is a feature film about the final days of physical media, and it's basically feature-length film about video game collectors and the mom and pop video game store owners across the United States.
I watched it whatever it was, like about a month ago or so when it premiered, and through the Patreon thing, and for backers. And Man, that was great. I thought it was awesome. I really enjoyed watching it. And as you and I were talking about, just off the cuff, it parallels VHS collecting a lot.
Oh, totally.
There's a whole lot of similarities there. So but that's a story for another day, I guess. But
Sure.
So go watch that documentary.
Yeah, I might go watch it sometime this week. That sounds really awesome.
You would love it, man. It's really cool. It's really good. I mean, sad, but it's good.
Yeah. I just watched some weird documentary about some dude who was trying to collect every NES game ever made.
Nintendo Quest.
Yeah. Within 30 days. So
there's a lot of weird stipulations. There's a lot of weird stipulations in that documentary. It's like, and I already own these. And a lot of that movie is like haggling these store owners and like pressuring them into selling games for like a quarter price because they're on camera and they think the movie's going to be like a commercial. Yeah. It's
just one of those random Hulu documentaries where it's just like, if you go down the rabbit hole far enough, because it's not high quality or anything. It's not VHS Deep Rising quality.
What for
it's
your
not
money?
Even striking point quality.
For your money, what's the best VHS documentary? Is it VHS Massacre?
There's that. There's Rewind This, and there's another one that I have. I don't know why I can't remember the name of that one, but there's a couple of them out there. And
Rewind This. Maybe?
Rewind This. Yeah. Yep. I really liked Rewind This a lot. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they're all good. I mean, they're all pretty good. There's one that's up on like Amazon Prime right now that I was like falling asleep watching it. I didn't like it at all. I don't remember.
I think I know which one it is, and I think
we're not going to say the name on the show. But
let's be jerks.
I don't remember what show it is.
Equilibrium.
Hey man, that is a good movie. Christ,
I tried.
Holy mackerel! All right,
Well,
so
we're here to talk about the documentary Deep Rising.
Deep Rising,
yes, filmed
based
in
off
real
of true
time.
events.
Deep Rising.
Yeah. So Kevin, like I don't know, a year or two ago, was like, dude, you ever seen this movie Deep Rising? And I was like, yeah, man. I remember I rented this. I mean, my dad rented this from the local video store when I was a kid when it first came out, and he and I watched it together. And I was like, yeah, I remember like 2 parts and it being like pretty cool, like this monster, and Treat Williams was in it. Wow, man. And you were like, dude, we got to do it. So eventually over time, I was able to get a copy of the movie, and I was like, now's the time, man. Let's do it. Let's watch the movie. So this is my first time watching it since it first came out in like 1998, 1999. And then you have a story about how you saw this movie, right?
Yeah. So I saw it upon release in theaters with my father. So my dad used to work nights. He was a technician at Gillette in Boston. So whenever my dad had a day off, he really wouldn't have a day off to hang out with me and my sister. So after school, we'd come home and he'd be forcing himself to stay awake. And he'd go, hey, let's go catch a movie. And we all thought Deep Rising was going to be an action movie. And you did too, Dane, when you rented it, right?
I mean, dude, you look at the cover of this movie and all right, so I'll just describe it real quick. You got like these ocean waves and you got Treat Williams and this babe hanging off of him off of this ski-doo. And there's this big giant explosion behind them and this big giant like impact font. It says a slick entertainment action film, says the Hollywood Reporter. And then the Deep Rising is in this like shiny, like riveted steel text. It's almost like what was the name of the movie? You know, like in The Last Action Hero, the kid was watching the Arnold Schwarzenegger
Jack Slater.
It's like Jack Slater, like that font. And it says they seized the world's richest ship, but no one's on board. And so you look at the cover and you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be like yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Like
my father absolutely thought it was going to be like, what's that? The Steven Seagal movie, the one popular one.
Under Siege, man.
Yeah. He totally thought it was going to be Under Siege.
Box. There's a ship exploding and there's people with guns and stuff. And you're like, dude, and it says first rate special effects, pulse pounding, Die Hard meets Alien meets Titanic.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. The movie really is just a composite, an amalgamation of like 8 successful movies. And so you get into the movie theater, you park your ass in the seat. I'm 11 years old. This movie was made for me and my dad. My dad grew up in St. Croix and he used to be a spear fisherman when he was a kid.
Oh, shit.
When he was a kid, he would go out like as a teenager and he'd like go spear fishing and catch tuna and stuff like that. So the moment we both realized in the theater, hey, this is a sea monster movie. Like we practically high-fived. I distinctly remember my dad going, "Oh, it's a monster movie." They ended up rebranding the movie a bunch because there's posters out there that really own the fact it's a monster movie. I'm looking at one right now that says "Full Scream Ahead" from the special effect team who made Total Recall and Star Wars Deep Rising. Wow. Like back like in 1998, could you really hang your hat on Total Recall 8 years after that came out? Like,
wow, crazy. Now,
so I hadn't seen it.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, like you, I hadn't seen this movie since 1998, 99.
Yeah. Yeah. So T-Man Kev, this is your first time seeing this movie?
First time.
All right. So obviously, before you get to see the movie, you have to watch like a half an hour's worth of miniature trailers. It's almost like buying a thing of M&Ms, but it's just a big box of mini M&Ms. But you got to eat all of them at once. That's what the trailers were.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And there's like redundant trailers. There's like 2 trailers for Scream 2.
Yeah. It was crazy. Tons and tons of trailers on this tape. And it just kept going on and on forever. We had no idea. It's just like
some guy trying to sell his box of VHS on Craigslist. And he's like, hey, I got Scream 2 and I got Tremors and I got Deep Rising and I got Scream 2 and I got Titanic and I got Jurassic Park and I got Scream 2.
I got Halloween H2O.
Halloween H2O. Yeah. It's just, there's a huge, potpourri of different movies on here that all seem to be like much bigger blockbusters than what this movie ended up being. So
yeah, but it also H2O. Probably cost less than this movie.
This movie was pretty expensive. It was $45 million and it made like 11 or 12 million. It was a huge bomb. It came out in the wake of Titanic. Titanic was in theaters and was still #1, I think, when this came out. And it's also like one of the identifying characteristics of this movie is that there's a huge ocean liner, like a luxury ocean liner that gets shipwrecked early on. Like it's
basically just it's just one giant casino. And then it has some refrigerators and elevators. The only luxurious part of it is that we see it has a casino.
Good times forever.
You don't even go into the bedrooms or anything, but
no.
Yeah. So the back of the box, like I said, is explosions and guns and stuff. So it says, buckle up for the edge of your seat excitement with the explosive hit Deep Rising.
Was this a Lorenzo Lamas movie?
No kidding, right? Jeez. An unstoppable.
Is it an explosive conclusion?
Oh, dude, we're getting there. An unstoppable high seas action thriller that moves at full scream ahead. When a band of ruthless hijackers invade the world's most luxurious cruise ship, they're shocked to discover the passengers have mysteriously vanished. But that doesn't mean they are alone. Something terrifying is lurking just out of sight. A deadly force from the unexplored depths of the ocean that begins to snatch the horrified intruders one by one. Treat Williams of The Devil's Own and sexy
Famke Janssen.
Yeah, you said it, dude. Of GoldenEye and Rounders. I totally forgot she was in GoldenEye. Yeah, lead a
before
group
X-Men.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, lead a group of survivors who must overcome incredible odds in their breathtaking battle to escape the doomed ship alive. So yeah, obviously,
it's breathtaking. But
if you had read the back of the box, you would have known it's a monster movie. But if you just see the cover, it's just like we were talking about another awesome Treat Williams movie, Dead Heat. You look at the cover and you think it's a buddy cop movie, but no, it's about zombies and stuff.
Is it a monster volcano movie?
Monster volcano movie. Yeah, right. That's what it. Yeah, name it Dead Heat. Yeah, of course, that's what it should have been. But I said, yeah. So we got a ton of trailers, and then eventually we get into the movie, and it's like there's some text at the beginning, and T-Man was reading it.
Yeah, that's basically to tee you up for the fact it's a horror film.
Yeah.
like listen, give us half an hour. Apparently there was some elaborate special effects sequence at the beginning of the movie that they were working on. I don't know if ILM was doing it but apparently there was like 8 months of work put into this effect sequence that was supposed to open the movie, and they had to cut it to get the movie in theaters on time because it just wasn't coming together. And I'm guessing that text prompt was in lieu of that to kind of,
oh yeah, it could have been.
Yeah,
that's their way of going, all right, picture this. Just use your imagination.
The theater of the mind, folks.
Yeah.
And go.
I don't even know what that was. Were those like sunken ships? Was that what that was? Right? Sunken ships?
It was like
a talking about like how deep the ocean is, and there's things that live down there, and all the ships get wrecked and no one knows why or something.
Makes you really think. Makes you really think. What could it be?
It's James Cameron.
I thought it was just a group of renegade terrorists with
torpedoes.
Yeah.
So,
So then we're in this big glamorous cruise ship, and
the Argonautica.
Everybody in there is
the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah, the Encyclopedia, the USS Encyclopedia Britannica. And
it's as big as the book collection.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's where it's like you get that ship if you don't win the grand prize on a double dare, but you get the second prize as the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah,
you don't get to go home empty.
It trips people up.
It's like if you don't, but you don't get that, but you don't get the trip to Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, where you already are, So
right, stay for 2 extra days.
Yeah,
the place you're already staying.
I gotta get
the passengers on the ship don't get that luxury.
Yeah, oh no, yeah, they all get
gets
butt-eaten.
Yeah, suck down the toilet poop hole.
Yeah, the poop.
So there's basically just rim jobs you to death. You're right.
There's a scene really early on in the movie where, like you're seeing everyone in the lap of luxury in this ship, and the people who designed the ship are having a big toast. And then the monster, we don't see it, but POV hits the ship and causes this huge calamity, killing a ton of people on it, or injuring them at least. And that's where we get that awesome toilet like monster scene.
Oh,
I was sold as soon as I saw that.
Yeah, this lady is like so freaked out. She locks herself in a bathroom. She's sitting on the stall.
Hey, she's got to take a Zeus Dookie, man.
And
when you got to go, you got to go.
It was great. It was the best. Right. It was the best toilet death scene I've seen since Street Trash.
Now, what I thought we were watching
the
movie.
They put that on the back of the box.
Well, I was when we were watching it, I was sitting here talking to you guys, going, if they just cut this scene where we see it's like an expensive scene, it's all practical effects. If they just cut the bit where the monster attacks the boat and everyone gets killed and strewn about and all that, and the first time we really get a good look at the boat is when like the mercenaries and Treat Williams and everyone are getting on it, and you just see that it's abandoned and there's like no one there. That would have been way scarier, but then we would have lost that toilet scene.
Yeah.
Which is totally
I don't lose the toilet scenes.
Yeah, man, you gotta have it. That's just like if you guys don't know, when they made Ghoulies, they had the promotion of the ghoulie coming out of the toilet, but it wasn't in the movie, and the guys were like, "No, man, Charles Band, you have to put that in the movie if you're going to put it on the poster." So he had to shoot a shot of a ghoulie coming out of the toilet for the movie.
The golden age of cinema.
Yeah, darn right it is. Yep. Oh God, can you imagine if this was if Deep Rising was a full moon movie, how much better it would have been.
Man, I would have loved to see. It would just be. It would have been
be puppets, man.
Full moons. The toilet.
Deep toilet.
It's just a possessed toilet.
Toilet
that flushes your soul.
This movie is like, it's got a lot of story to it in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like washes away.
Then it turns then it turns the philanthropist into a scientist.
Yeah, just for that one scene of
thrown
exposition.
Out the window.
Yeah, just because he has glasses, he has to explain what's going on. Someone has to.
Yeah, he knows how to kill the monsters. He knows exactly what they are, how they eat, how they poop, everything.
He does think that there are a bunch of individual worms, which isn't true. It's like Tremors. Like you think that there's a bunch of these serpent things, but it's one like mom monster in a way, right? Like kind of like the parent. So now we meet Treat Williams and Kevin J. O'Connor, right? Another Kevin.
Yeah, right. There's too many on this show now. It's like Multiplicity, but with Kevin's.
Kevbot,
Is that your pitch to the studio? Hey, it's Multiplicity, but with Kevin.
Yes.
There's the door.
Green light.
I like it. $48 million. Go. Have it out by Christmas.
Kevin Sorbo, Kevin Klein, Kevin James.
All the Kevins.
All Kevin Sorbos.
All Kevin
all
Sorbo.
Kevin
Only
Sorbos,
Kevin
no.
Sorbos.
So
It's Kevin Sorbo playing literally every part.
It's
But
an Eddie Murphy
he
movie.
plays all the other Kevins.
Right.
It's Kevin Sorbo as Kevin Klein.
I think the last thing I saw Kevin Sorbo in was a God of War game where he played Hercules.
Have you seen
I think the last thing I saw Kevin Sorbo in was some fan convention at, just signing autographs.
Kevin Sorbo is still cool as hell. You got to see
Pool Boy.
Pool Boy drowning out the fury.
Pool Boy's
Pool
so
Boy
good.
2.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that,
Oh my
dude,
God, it's amazing.
check
St.
it
James
out.
Street James is wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh my
St.
God,
James Street James.
So Treat Williams plays Finnegan. That's the guy's name?
Mm-hmm.
Finnegan.
I
And
didn't get anyone's name throughout this movie.
and Kevin J. O'Connor plays Joey, who should have been the main
Except
character.
Joey.
Yeah.
I really like Joey.
He was great. He's definitely my favorite character.
Yeah.
He improvised most of his dialogue, which tells you something.
I don't blame him.
Most great actors do.
I do. As soon as I get a script, I throw it out the window and I say, I'm coming up with my own lines.
Not to throw shade at Steven Summers, who wrote and directed it. I mean, he made, we talked about this earlier. He made The Mummy.
Ooh.
He did The Mummy Returns, The Scorpion King,
Ooh.
Van Helsing, the 1994 Jungle Book.
As the director, he could have said, hey, stick to the script. But he let him be free and make the character more interesting.
Joey was great. I loved Joey. Gets the best scenes in the movie. Yeah. Treat Williams was apparently filling in for Harrison Ford, who turned the movie down.
No idea why. He totally. Hey man, his loss was Treat Williams' gain. What can I say?
Like, I could just see like them really trying to sell Harrison Ford. Like, Harrison, you know Jurassic Park? Yeah. And you know The Lost World? Yeah. Imagine it was on a boat. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of movies that came out in the later half of the 90s that, the Mimic, Relic, Phantoms, and I'd put this in that.
Oh yeah,
that
Phantoms was in the trailer, the amalgamation of trailers too.
I think this is the cream of the crop out of that breed, though. Like the late 90s. Oh, we have computers now. Monster movies. Yeah. Like
computer monsters.
Yeah.
Like Starship Troopers coming out and stuff and all this stuff. You could put a ton of CGI in a movie now and you think it all looks good. Oh, great. Everybody's got to do it.
Starship Troopers looks really good to this day.
That movie looks
crazy.
fantastic today. Yeah.
It's weird because like Men in Black looks bad, I think.
Yeah.
This movie has like, there are some practical effects, and we talked about this too. I think the VHS version of the movie is, not just to be a hipster here, totally the way to watch this, because I watched it in HD a week ago. I rented it and it still looks cool, but the lighting, the backlighting, like the amount of contrast, like all the eye candy, there's always rain or water or fire or strobe lights or light. There's always something going on, and it's almost too much if you watch it like in HD, but on VHS, it like sings, like it's like the perfect medium to catch the whole movie. And I think,
yeah. Awesome.
It's the ultimate format.
Honestly,
It really is.
This movie was definitely shot with VHS in mind, I think. Like, I
hope so.
So
the first time I watched Avatar, I was like, Avatar, I can't wait to get this on VHS.
On six tapes.
Six tapes, yep.
It's like a Final Fantasy game. So, I mean, I keep stopping this, but like, so we meet Treat Williams and Kevin J. O'Connor. They're like boat guys.
A boat for hire.
It's like, when you look at the
Boat
commercial for like
They're boat for
Nantucket
hire who
Nectars.
ask
we're
no
boat
questions.
Guys. Hey, instead of juice guys.
Treat Williams doesn't have a girlfriend. He might have an ex-wife. Kevin J. O'Connor has a girlfriend who also works on the boat with them. And they're giving some shady looking guys who are clearly mercenaries a lift to the middle of the ocean. Where are they going?
They got the dude from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. They've got
Kano,
that guy.
from Mortal Kombat.
Kano's one of them.
Yeah, he plays T-Ray.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah. Well, they got Sagat.
Yeah,
Sagat's the leader.
I didn't even put that together. You're right. Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat.
So they're transporting the cast of Street Fighter.
It's like the movie is so painfully ripping off Aliens.
They paid them in bison bucks.
Yeah, bison dollar. It is worth 2 of every bison dollar.
So Finnegan and Joey have these shady mercenary dudes who it gets revealed they have these torpedoes, and we as the audience,
because Joey's just rummaging around the storage area or whatever, and he's just like, I wonder what's in these.
Yeah.
It could be a Dracula 3000, or it could be a torpedo, and it's a torpedo.
The funny thing too is the captain guy is like, "Hey, fix this thing," and he's like, "Yeah, I'll get to it. Let me open up these boxes first, see what we're dealing with."
Yeah,
torpedo.
Yeah, that's kind of unmotivated.
Yeah,
Joey, this whole movie, the universe just keeps conspiring to make his life suck. Like every step of the way, people like punch him by accident, kick him in the stomach by accident. He gets shot at one point. Like originally he was supposed to die in the movie, but I guess it tested so poorly they reshot the ending, which is why he inexplicably makes it to the end of the movie.
You feel so bad for the dude.
Yeah, he every bad thing happens to him. I don't know. I know I've brought it up. I thought he was charming as hell. I could have watched.
Oh yeah.
They could have cut 3 characters and just made it all about Joey and the Mercs. And I think it would have been a better movie, but
Joey and the Mercs. Premiering this Sunday on TBS.
Sounds like
what was the motivation behind? So before the ship got mysteriously attacked, and that woman got sucked down the
toilet.
Pooper?
The toilet, yeah.
The latrine.
The woman who plays Phoenix in the X-Men movies, she was going after something, and it doesn't.
She's a jewel thief.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's why she was on the cruise ship.
Yeah.
There's 3 parties involved that are all trying to get the money out of the ship, because apparently money is so corporeal in 1998. The idea of you just got to get to this boat. That's where the money is. It's not on some bank server somewhere in the cloud.
Yeah, I think what it was probably, it was all because this cruise liner had all the rich people of the world basically in this one ship or whatever.
They have traveler's checks.
He even says it, right? He even says it when he's giving that speech. He's like, "We're all incredibly rich.
We're the 1% of the world."
Basically,
you know who got all the wealth after this? Jeff Bezos. That's why Amazon blew up after the year 2000.
Because he funded an expedition to excavate the shipwreck of Deep Rising, and he took all the jewelry. But I think that lady, she breaks into a vault. It's very Ocean's 11, more oceans than 11. And
it's on the ocean and it's 11 minutes in.
Yeah, she steals some credit card that gets her into the vault. But I feel like
that's how rich these people are. You have to pay to get in the vault.
Yet again, we were talking about this while watching the movie. This movie is more Resident Evil than the Resident Evil movies.
Exactly. So I think that vault is where all the rich people, it's like there's safety deposit boxes, except it's on a cruise ship. So I think they brought all their money with them on the cruise. I don't know.
Hey, you know what I just realized? God almighty. We're just talking about Resident Evil. In Resident Evil 3, you go into a graveyard, a spooky graveyard, and you fight this big giant worm that looks exactly like the monster in this movie.
And they cut that from the remake of Resident Evil 3 for some reason.
Yeah.
But yes, it's great and it's great in the OG.
Right. It's weird. Well, it's the similarities are just meshing here.
It's so Resident Evil, man.
Yeah. This whole movie, you could stitch together scenes from other popular movies and make the exact same movie. There's shots from Terminator 2. There's shots from Die Hard, Aliens. There's a line right out of Ghostbusters. It's crazy how much of a hodgepodge it is of popular movies from the preceding decade.
Dude, as soon as you said that while we were watching it, I was immediately watching a supercut of other movies and not Deep Rising.
So here's the thing is like, how did they expect this to be like the next big blockbuster monster movie if everybody knew this is just a ripoff of every other movie?
Well, let me answer that question with 2 words.
Answer that question with 2 words.
Is it Treat Williams?
Well, no, I wish that was the 2 words. It's Stranger Things.
Oh boy. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I hear ya. It's because Stranger Things is this huge, it's turned into this big empire, but it's just the Goonies, you know?
Oh. It's just other movies put together.
It's just shots from
Stranger
E.T.
Things.
Yeah.
Stranger Things is banking on nostalgia, where this movie is banking on movies that came out like 5 years ago.
Catchphrases mostly.
Yeah. So it's the nostalgia. If this movie came out now, I think it would be in like banking on like early 2000s nostalgia or late 90s. Then it would probably do well.
It would be a hit
if the
on
same
Netflix.
exact movie came out.
Because Stephen Sommers had hits like The Mummy. Most people really like The Mummy.
Right. Yeah.
That movie's got it going on. So there, I could see why like a studio believed in him and gave him that money. I read some vague information about how the movie had a long post-production process and there wasn't a lot of trouble on set. Like it seems like Summers is a really easygoing director. They did recast Famke Janssen's character very early on. It was supposed to originally be Claire Forlani. Is that her name? We were talking about during the movie. She was in Meet Joe Black and Mallrats. And I'm sure once they couldn't get Harrison Ford, the budget got downgraded. But that means if this movie cost $45 million, when it was supposed to be a Harrison Ford movie, this movie was probably like a $75-80 million movie in 1998. That's like a huge, huge movie.
Yeah. I mean, if it was Harrison Ford, it would be a completely different movie. Well, I don't know, it'd be completely different, but it probably would have been successful.
More of a vehicle.
I don't think it would have been as good. I don't think we would have been talking about it today if he was in it.
Well, we wouldn't.
Again, 2 words.
He wouldn't certainly.
I feel like Treat Williams doesn't like. This is the only movie I've seen him in. I think he's charming in the movie, but he's so like vanilla flavored ice cream here. Like
you
I
gotta
feel
see
like
Dead Heat, man. He's totally different. He's the best.
And I don't think it's even him necessarily. I think he comes off like
the way he's written, right?
Exactly. If you're gonna make a movie like look at Tremors, right? Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon are great in that movie, right?
Yes.
But you have to nail those characters. Otherwise, you end up with Treat Williams in this movie, which is just like a hodgepodge of like C-grade catchphrases and shit, right? Like what? Like tell me one thing about Finnegan.
You don't see that every day.
Yeah, that's the
next?
Ghostbusters line.
What's next?
Yeah.
What's next?
Like, tell me one thing about Finnegan.
That was just him asking what scene they were going to film next.
Yeah.
What next?
Like, where are
what
we?
Next?
Oh man, there was that
color
great
pages
scene.
are we using today?
I was just gonna say, like, Finnegan goes like, "What page are we on?" And they cut. Great, we're gonna use that. No. I was just.
What page?
Who cares? Moving on.
Every actor in this movie knows to have a lot of fun with it, and that's It's probably the most popcorn looking movie I've seen
Williams
where everyone's
movie.
just having fun with it. Because usually when people are just hamming it up, it's not an expensive movie. This movie looks like a blockbuster movie, but everyone's just kind of farting around, you know?
That's the difference between
they
this
don't take
and
it too
Dracula
seriously.
3000.
Well, Coolio was fucking amazing in Dracula 3000.
You understand that like it was such a low budget thing. They're just hamming it up because they're having fun. They're like, yeah, whatever. Who cares? Nobody's ever going to see this. Nobody's going to see this 20 years from now except us. You know?
You imagine if Tiny Lester and Coolio were boat henchmen in this movie?
They should have been, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that would have been
I'm
great.
surprised. Now that you mentioned it, I'm surprised there wasn't a rapper in this movie.
Yeah, right.
Because every horror movie in the late 90s, early 2000s had a rapper
Like
in
Deep
it.
Blue Sea and
Halloween H2O,
yeah.
Halloween Resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Did Scream 2 have one? Or did Scream 2 have one? Or did...
It's Scream 2.
So, okay, to get the plot ABCs wrapped up, Finnegan and Joey get the mercenaries to the boat at gunpoint, to the ocean liner, to the Encyclopedia Britannica, and the boat's now empty. And it turns out,
how did their boat break down? Like, didn't they just run something over and that exploded everything? And like,
yeah. We got to talk about the encyclopedia, the USS Encyclopedia Britannica, and how it crashed or what happened to it.
It got attacked by something in POV.
Somebody put 3 CD-ROM discs into some optical drive, and then
someone put the GoldenEye drive in.
Yeah.
That's Treat Williams' boat.
What?
God.
That was Treat Williams' boat.
No. That was the cruise ship.
Oh, that was the cruise ship.
That was the guy with the glasses.
That was the encyclopedia.
Oh, yeah. It was
okay.
His own ship because he was because he knew that the ship was going to get all fucked up so he could get insurance money from it and pay it off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Great motivation. He'll make some money off the boat.
Yeah. He's just got to kill
the boat filled with
thousands of people.
I just don't understand the whole thing of like, okay, so like the radios got jammed or whatever, but was it his plan to get the monsters to crash into the boat? I don't get that.
No.
That's where it all went tits up.
So that just happened, right? That was just a fluke, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, the monster was not planned.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But the mercenaries were.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the mercenaries are going there with their torpedoes to go steal the jewels in the vault.
And they're super duper Chinese aliens assault rifles from the colonial Marines.
That never need reloading.
Those Gatling guns, man. That was so awesome.
That's because this movie is a video game. It's Video Game the movie.
Yeah.
They just shot off screen.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Reload. So I went onto the Internet Firearms Movie Database website and I looked up that gun real quick. And apparently it's some other like real machine gun. And the Gatling part was fake. They had like a battery in it that made it spin. And the gun muzzle flame just came out of the center. It shot blanks right out of the center instead of shooting out of the
it looked cool
turrets.
as hell.
Dude, it looked awesome. I love the sound of it too. It was neat. You know?
Yeah, this movie does have like a look and like there's a lot of good, like every big thing in it has a silhouette. Like you remember what the guns look like. You remember all the character acting in it. Like every character name, like T-Ray, like come on. Like everything does stick out, despite it being.
Although we did think Joey was Jerry for nearly the entire movie until he washed up on the beach.
Joey. Oh, his name's Joey.
You know what's funny? Just on that real quick. We were talking about the Resident Evil movies and stuff. Now, granted, I'm the only one in the room who kind of likes the first one. Obviously, the other ones suck, but I remember
I've only ever seen the first one. Sorry,
you never seen the first one? It's the only one.
I got to throw that out there. That's the only one I've seen.
Oh, it's the only one you've seen. Don't worry about the other ones. You'll waste your time. But I remember watching the movie all the way to the end. I actually remember the first time I saw it at the end of the movie. I said, "Holy shit! I don't even know if they said any of these people's names." So the next time I watched it, I was like, "Did they even say any of these people's names ever in the movie?" I don't think they said anybody's names ever in that movie. Yeah. None of the characters, they never said a name, so I didn't know who anybody was. So
they make up for it because in the Resident Evil sequels, they talk a lot about Alice being important.
Right.
Alice,
right, yeah.
Alice, like what a stupid those movies.
Jeez.
Anywho, so Treat Williams takes his boat and they parallel park it next to the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Are they both anchored or I think he latched it onto it or something?
They put some kind of suction cuppy thingy on it.
Oh yeah, okay.
Treat
Just like you took off your Mac screen.
He has Treat Williams has like all these gizmos in the movie. He has like this super techie like chair that Batman would use in the Tim Burton movies.
Yeah, right.
He's got like ecto goggles from the Ghostbusters. Like,
oh yeah,
nothing he has is just like normal everyday cool boat shit. Like the movie,
what is he?
He's got a Terminator robot hand for a back scratcher.
Right. He's got a Rubik's cube for
he's got to be a pirate or something, right? He's definitely an illegal.
Isn't that kind of the thing about this movie that if you think about it, like there are no characters with good intentions. They're all kind of bad
seedy
guys.
characters, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They do the thing where they firmly establish who's worse early on. Like they make some of the mercenaries kind of rapey and all that.
Right.
Because they want to make sure, Treat Williams is a good guy, despite the fact that he's just trying to get laid and get money. That's like kind of all that's going on this whole movie. Like there's literally like he has nothing else going on underneath the surface of this movie. Like, I don't know. Like they don't even, I don't know about his life outside of being a guy that holds harpoon gun.
Right. What I'm okay with that though, because I hate when movies monologue at you about like, oh, my family that's off screen is so important. Like, shut up.
Yeah. My son died. He was killed by an octopus. and I had a gun, but I could have shot the octopus and I didn't. Like,
yeah, exactly.
My son who died from cancer really wanted me to rob the USS Encyclopedia Britannica Brown.
It was his dying wish.
It was his dying wish.
There's a scene where
He
he's
wanted
like,
me to steal the golden eye weapon that
Treat Williams is like sitting in his boat, like looking at a Polaroid of his son. And Joey goes, "You thinking about your kid?" And he goes, "Yeah, my kid always told me that he'd be really proud of me if I made out with Famke Janssen." End of scene.
he said, "Remember, when you take boat fares, don't ask any questions." And I haven't since.
Yeah, that's what this movie
This one's
needed.
for you, Bobby.
That's going to pay off for me in the long run, I bet. Mm-hmm.
So,
man.
So
they
their
board the boat.
gets damaged too, though, right? Like their boat gets all messed up, and somehow none of their torpedoes blow up in the process.
Right.
Right? Like their boat breaks down. So like the guy's girlfriend is still there trying to fix the boat and stuff at the same time, while the other guys get on the boat, find it abandoned. So in the process, some of the people are dying. Nobody knows why. They're getting sucked into the water and the blood
and we
going
didn't
everywhere.
say the jewel thief lady. She got caught stealing the jewels, and they locked her in a walk-in freezer.
Like the shinning. Yeah.
Just like it. Yep.
So she survived the attack because the monster can't get through freezer doors.
Why didn't they all
but
just
it can
hang
get
out
through
in
an
the freezer?
entire ship?
You know?
There's probably garlic in there. Maybe it was a vampire. A vampire squid.
That's good screenwriting.
That makes sense now.
They didn't need those big guns. They just needed all the garlic.
Yeah, right.
True.
So they end up finding a couple of survivors that kills one of the mercenaries with an axe to the face. So they all shoot them all down, except two of them. One of them was the guy who earlier said, "Hey, everybody, we're all rich on this boat, and I made this boat. We're all rich." And the other one was some other dude, some other guy. I don't know what he was. He was like
the captain,
mustache guy.
Was he the captain?
He's like
the captain.
Captain.
Oh, okay.
Assistant. Yeah,
that guy was in Brazil. He's in a bunch of movies, and apparently the most he ever got paid was being in Deep Rising.
Oh,
good for him.
I believe that.
For him.
It's because he was in that vault.
Yeah, a lot of. Oh my God, there's an amazing scene where the mercenaries and Treat Williams come across this locked door, and it's a safe. They're like, "Oh, all the money's in here." So they go to open the safe, and right as they're opening it, one of the mercenaries starts saying to himself, "Money, money, 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 money." And as they open it up, the captain is behind the door, and the captain just comes at him with an axe and chops that mercenary right in the forehead. It's nuts. It's like Verhoeven-esque and how violent it is.
Yeah.
And it's because everyone hiding now in the vault has seen these monsters on the boat. The mercenaries haven't seen them yet, but this is sort of where all the characters coalesce and people start to meet each other. Right.
You wouldn't believe the people who've gotten pulled into toilets that I've seen.
So now all the mercenaries getting picked off one by one, and you don't get to see exactly what's doing it. It's just something's in the water. It just snags them, and at least slime sometimes. Once in a while.
Sometimes. Yeah, when the movie needs it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it needs to rip off Alien, it leaves the slime.
Yeah, when it needs to rip off Tremors, there's water on the floor so you can't see.
So I guess their objective at this point is they got to get like the boat up and running or something like that, right? They gotta.
Well, they're like trying to call for the security. You know, like and send out an SOS or something.
Right.
But then he's like, I disabled the SOS.
The Mercs still think they could get money and get away.
Right.
Whereas Finnegan and Joey are like, we could just leave. You know, we could just get out of here. And it's not until like an hour into the movie that everyone gets on board with the, hey, let's just leave idea.
Exactly. And at this point, there's this one scene that's just like in Predator where like, some noise, something's making some noise in a corner, and everybody's just shooting. It's like that part in Python Force. We're like, just shoot everything. Just shoot everything.
That seems funny. There's some that's genuinely funny.
That was great.
Treat Williams makes that scene.
Yeah,
and like they shoot.
He was like, guys, stop it.
Yeah,
and it's quiet for a moment, and then everyone. Unlimited ammo.
Yeah.
They put in a cheat code during the opening credits.
And that's like T-Ray's last big scene before he gets eaten.
Yeah.
I just like saying T-Ray.
T-Ray.
Which one was T-Ray?
He was the Australian guy from Mortal Kombat.
Kano, yeah.
Yeah.
Who was also wicked rapey in Mortal Kombat as well.
He was, yeah.
Kano.
Should have gotten better roles or less rapey roles in both movies.
Was he the rapey one in this movie?
No. The
I think it was a
rapey
different
one
guy.
was
He was the English guy.
The rapey one was the bad guy from True Lies. And Kano was the one who was seasick on the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So now they're going through, some of them are getting picked off one by one. And eventually you find out why you can't get an SOS and who's the culprit behind it.
Yeah.
Anybody want to tell me
who's
who?
killing me, Dane?
The guy that looks like Nick Nolte.
Yeah, that guy, the one guy with the glasses. And you find out, so he's a dick who just thought he was going to get some insurance money from making the ship. And
I don't understand why there's so many other ways you could sink a ship without having thousands of people on it.
Don't you think he'd get some money from the casino? I mean,
well, that's another good line from Joey, because he's like, this ship cost $482 million, but we blah 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 blah. We're not going to make enough money.
Right. Yeah,
he didn't balance the books. And Joey's like, we're in here because you're bad at math, and we're all going to die.
Sounds like a character on Doug when you scream it like that. Anthony Heald is the actor's name. If you saw him, he's in a bunch of movies. He plays, the villain's name is Simon Canton.
Oh, and Kevbot, I threw this theory out there when we were watching during the commentary. What do I think? So Joey, I think, is a mixture as if Clint Howard and Jason Lee had a baby, and they birthed Joey.
Okay,
that's my fan theory.
I could see that.
Okay, all right,
yeah.
All right. I thought I was going to get more enthusiasm. Hey, well, you know what? They're not all winners.
If you look up Anthony Heald on IMDb, the first video that comes up is a trailer for Deep Rising.
Oh shit!
It's literally the first thing, and it's next to a photograph of him getting strangled by Mystique in X-Men, which stars Famke Janssen.
Whoa!
Yeah, there are a lot of people in superhero movies in this movie.
Because it's the only way that anyone in Hollywood could get a job in the last 20 years.
No, the guy who was the leader of the thugs was in Mystery Men.
Oh God,
that's a superhero movie.
Yeah. That's a real superhero movie.
I love that movie.
I was the Super Squad.
I was so disappointed when I was at the theater down the Cape seeing that. Yep, I was like, "Come on, this is Pee Wee."
I know. I remember I was excited that Pee Wee was in a movie, and I don't know. I couldn't feel.
There's one really good line in that movie where they're talking about how the bowler's father, Carmine the bowler, died. And they said, yeah, he fell down an elevator shaft onto some bullets.
I mean, I need to give it another chance because I think I watched it on like Comedy Central or something.
Hank Azaria is really good in that movie.
Yes. Hank Azaria is always good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the birdcage. Anyway.
So Deep Rising.
Where are we?
Are we in Act
People
2
are getting
yet?
picked off. Where's the point where
this
we
is
finally
basically
see...
when it turns into other movies.
Yeah. When do we finally see that it's weird tentacle, vampire tentacle face huggery
I think so. There's the Alien ripoff.
Oh God, yeah. There's a scene that's 1-to-1 from Alien. Yeah.
Yes. So like this goop drips onto Joey's shoulder and he wipes it off, but he's like, oh no, it's alien sea monster goop. And then he looks up and then that's when you see the tentacle monster thing.
This scene's actually really good. I got to hand it to the movie. The visual effects in this scene are crazy good because this is the scene where
they shoot it open.
They shoot it open. You get a really good look at the tentacle. They shoot it open. A bunch of stomach acid comes out and burns them because alien.
Yep.
And then it's also there to demonstrate that you could be digested in it, I guess. It's like a cue for that. So when one of the other mercenary guys who was waiting on Finnegan's boat, it's revealed he's been eaten. he falls out of the tentacle, and he's half digested. And
he's like RoboCop decomposing, mutating, whatever.
It's incredible looking.
Yeah,
it's
like
really,
half of his head is missing, but it's like actually still the actor. I think. I don't know.
No, I think it's like mostly the actor with some green screen and some motion tracking.
Right.
For 1998, I don't know if like one effects team worked exclusively on that shot, but that holds up for 22 years old in HD. It looks really good.
That's
like,
probably the best effect in the movie by far.
It stands out. Like it's like Oscar worthy, I think, at the time.
Yeah,
I think
that's
the
great.
ending might be the best for me.
The explosion?
No,
the skidoo? I know what you mean.
What the Tekken 2 cutscene level CGI for
the surfboard.
Oh, the surfboard. But the I was going off on a tangent about how good the CG gets for that scene. That whole sequence goes from being like an Alien ripoff to like this effect sequence that just shuts you up in the theater. Like, oh my god, this looks really good. Like now it's a monster movie. I feel like there was a tug of war behind the scenes between, is this going to be an R-rated movie or is it going to be kind of like a family-friendly Jurassic Park thing? But that scene firmly plants it as, no, this is scary.
Right.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And then they just run away from the tentacles for the rest of the movie.
Pretty much.
Nothing really matches that. Nothing really catches up to that scene.
There's eventually a ski-doo, and they got to get off the boat. That's the next jump.
Well,
you know?
Simon, no, I mean a bunch of other stuff.
Simon hypothesizes that they're worms from the bottom of the ocean that are eating them one by one. Because at that point, they think the tentacles are individuals, that they're not like part of one monster. They think they're, it's like Tremors, man. Like they think it's, you know what I mean? It's the same like bait and switch. You think it's a bunch of individual like eels or something and not like one big hive monster.
It's like,
Tremors is individual monsters though.
Well, in Tremors,
I know what you mean. With the little tiny
the little tongues.
That you think
like Futurama.
Oh, that's what you mean. Gotcha.
It's like the Futurama movie with Evo, and all the tentacles are attacking people, and it's another creature from another universe. God. Except instead of sex, it's killing them.
Whoa.
What's like? I'm trying to think of other good kills in this movie.
I can see that movie.
Because
you guys havenent seen that Futurama? Oh my god!
No, I've only seen the nude
Beast with a billion backs.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just some other good kills though, right? Like there's like some of the henchmen getting like, when Joey's girlfriend who works on Finnegan's ship gets killed. That was a pretty good yeah. That was really
she's
fast.
still on the regular ship. I don't know what
she's
the boat.
She's on Treat Williams' boat and she gets friggin' sucked out of this hole.
It was very simple but effective. Like it felt
looked really good.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was CGI, but I thought I think it was like a combination. You said right where they pulled a dummy and like CGI'd her face onto it because it looked like a wire rig. They pulled her out.
Yeah.
When you do that well, it's very effective. Like if you kind of do it conservatively, where you put like a dummy or a CG body double in a scene, and then just for a few frames put the real person's face on the body. That's what I assume they did there. I'm just assuming. But then if you get too crazy with it, you get like Spider-Man 3 where everyone just looks like a Tony Hawk character.
Yeah. Or you get the third act of this movie where the monster eats a guy and he's got shiny legs. That's another death where the guy, like the CGI monster comes out of the water. And then one of the random mercenaries is like, and he's like shooting it. And then he like ducks out of frame. And then the monster comes back up with a CGI version of him.
Just too much. Yeah.
And he's got shiny pants and stuff. And
I know. That's the guy who played Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Also
he was the guy from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Better movie.
Of shiny pants. Like you pointed this out, like as soon as we started watching this movie, Kevin, when Treat Williams is dry throughout the entire movie.
Yeah,
and his
like
hair is perfect.
Yeah,
he's treading through the water. And then the next scene, his pants are completely dry and pristine and pressed.
Yeah, he looks like a walking
Did he have the
Sears
silver
commercial.
polyester pants that I did in middle school that were pretty much waterproof.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Plastic
maybe they were
Jinkos.
required by his gym class.
I'm dumping on Treat Williams a lot. I have nothing
Jinkos were
against
pretty
him.
waxy, weren't they?
Yeah. There's something about Treat Williams in this movie where like I get what they wanted out of him, but I feel like once they didn't have Harrison Ford, you can't, it feels like they didn't adjust enough of the script to adapt to the fact they didn't have like this big leading man. And I like Treat Williams. I think he's like fun, but if this movie cost half as much money, I think Treat Williams have worked way better, you know? Like there's something about like, there's like a weird mismatch between him and the rest of this movie.
I can kind of understand.
Yeah, well, I think, it was probably like maybe the original script was it fleshed out his character more and like had more dialogue because he doesn't really say much. And I think, once they had Harrison Ford attached, this is just a conspiracy theory, but once they had Harrison Ford attached to it, they're like, okay, he costs X amount per day, and we're going to cut a lot of his dialogue so that his scenes are just in and out, and we don't really have to pay any overtime or just get him in and out, get him in the movie. And then they didn't add back in the dialogue once they got him out. You know what I mean? Because he's very much like the strong silent type. And like anything Harrison Ford says is like fucking cool.
Joe Botch and I refer to characters like this as protagonist man, where in the universe of the movie, he's the most charming person. Why? Well, because look at how well he's lit. Look at how good his hair is. That's the guy. That's the guy. It's like, really? Well, I'm much more interested in Joey. It's like, yeah. Joey's a loser. Like, I don't know. Joey's pretty cool. Joey has the best scene in the movie. Next to that crazy half digested scene, later on, when what's his name from Street Fighter, the movie, is getting eaten.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
That was great.
That's probably my favorite. That's what's up?
I was agreeing. I said yes.
No, I think I said Dan.
Sorry.
There's the whole bit. Yeah. I mean, like, am I crazy? Is that the best part of the movie?
That's a great part of the movie.
Yeah,
it's
like,
the best scene in the movie.
The guy's getting eaten slowly by the sea,
not the best effect.
By the sea worm, and Joey's got a gun, and he gives it to the guy, and he's like, don't tell me I never did anything for you. And Joey takes off.
It's a badass delivery. It's really badass the way he says it.
And the guy goes and tries to shoot him, and he misses. The guy's like, "Hey, you asshole!"
That's so well edited. Like it's like the most dignified thing Kevin J. O'Connor gets to do the whole movie is hand a guy a gun so he can kill himself before he's digested by a monster. And then that guy fucking shoots him anyway.
And then he tries to kill himself, and then that was the last.
No more bullets.
That's a great scene.
No more bullets. What do you think? I'm stupid guy from Street Fighter the movie.
And
the monster digests him.
So we're getting down to the end, and Treat Williams does some programming on the boat where it goes into autopilot. So it'll go out to sea and come back and blow up the whole ship pretty soon.
Because the torpedoes.
With the torpedoes.
The torpedoes are
on his own. He goes back to his own ship.
And at this point, he thinks that Joey had been attacked and eaten by the worm because there was some slime on the boat.
Yeah, because they filmed that and it was in the script. Yeah, he finds Joey's hat, and in the original shooting script and in the original cut of the movie, Joey gets violently eaten. Oh, by the way, when Joey finds out his girlfriend's been killed, he kind of gets over it real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he just does some spot welding and,
Yeah. But
that's how I vent my emotions.
That computer that Finnegan's got on his boat is good for two things: navigating the boat automatically and playing solitaire.
Yep. To which, at the right time, right before the boat's about to explode, he programmed it to say "Game Over" on the screen. Even though he was expecting nobody to be on the boat at that time, but so the bad guy with the glasses, he jumps like 5 stories down onto the boat thinking he's going to get out of there. And of course he breaks his leg doing it. And
doesn't he fight her in the skidoo first?
No.
Yeah,
because he's got a flare gun. So the girl, like the Bond girl, is trying to escape via a jet ski.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, give me the jet ski. And she's like, no. And then they fight, and he has a flare gun. He tries to kill her with a flare gun.
Aren't there 2 other jet skis, though?
There should be way more than 2 jet skis on this fucking giant
I saw
cruise
one
liner.
yellow jet ski, and that was it.
Yeah.
Well, there were at least 3 keys, though. That's the glass she broke, and there were 3 sets
3
keys.
keys for one ski-doo.
It's so. This is
Too
like
many
the most
keys.
video gamey part of this movie. Is that
It's so video game.
Exactly. She enters the jet ski room, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
She found the red key card and entered the jet ski room. And then she's like, I think I need a key for this jet ski. Let me look around the room.
Yeah.
Press X to search.
This movie,
clicking around.
if they had made an adaptation for this movie on PlayStation 1, I think it would have been
Yes.
pretty darn good.
This movie was made to be a video game.
That's right.
Specifically in
think-
1998.
Yes, exactly.
Do you think it should be what's it called? Like a rail
Survival horror?
shooter?
Oh
No, I think it's like Resident Evil.
Yeah, survival horror
Yeah.
game
With the
man, or
fixed
like
camera
or like
angles and tank
Parasite
controls.
Eve, you know.
Because I think there would be good parts where it would be a good
The movie certainly, yeah.
You know what?
The movie
would
certainly
have been
looks
good?
like
House
House of the Dead at
style.
times.
You ever played? You ever played the Resident Evil first-person shooter game called Resident Evil Survivor?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Which
terrible.
I rented it back in the day. That would have been really good for this.
It would have been great if they took this movie and incorporated it House of the Dead style, and it'd be typing of the Dead
Typing
Rising.
of the dude, we were talking about that while we were watching the movie, man. How crazy!
Well, there's a game called Resident Evil Dead Aim, and I think it takes place on a boat.
On PlayStation 2. Yeah,
Yeah, Resident Evil
They
Dead
could
Rising.
make a Resident Evil Dead Rising.
It's literally this. It's literally this movie, and we were talking about earlier. So, Kevbot, there's even a game on PlayStation 2 called Cold Water or
Beer?
something like that, and it's it's literally this movie.
Chili water.
Yeah, it's chili water.
Lukewarm.
Brisk.
Speaking of video games, this whole movie goes from Resident Evil to Uncharted 1 very quick. None of you have played the Uncharted games, right?
No,
but I'm familiar.
Yeah, same. It came free with my PS3, but I've never played it.
There's a sequence there's a sequence in the first Uncharted game where Nathan Drake, who's a lot like Treat Williams in this movie, jumps on a jet ski with Elena, who gets on the back riding a shotgun behind him, and she's got a gun, and they're going around in this jet ski. She's like shooting the gun to like blow open doors and stuff like that. It's oddly similar. It echoes this movie echoes in the first Uncharted game.
Nice.
That scene where they both get on the jet ski and they're like driving down. They're like, oh, we got to turn around to get enough speed. And it's like if you try to jump out the exit to the ocean, it's like, oh, well, I don't have enough speed to get out. What do? I should probably turn around. And then you keep trying it. And he's like, I should turn around. But then anyway, they drive the jet ski.
You have to go on GameFAQs.com to find out.
Yeah, to figure out how do I get out of this fucking garage? It's right there. The exit's right there. Why can't I get out?
Where's the Trident key?
And so that scene where they're driving the jet ski through this like thin hallway and the monster's behind him, and you said she's got the gun, or in the movie, Treat Williams has the shotgun. I don't know where he got it from, but he has it, and he's pointing it behind him, and he shoots the monster, and she reloads the gun for him. She cocks the barrel for him. It's very what are those QuickTime events cutscene esque?
Yeah.
And like press X to fucking watch this play out, basically. And I don't know. It just looks like a QuickTime event.
I gotta tell
It's
you,
fun as hell.
Those times when they take like a complete 180 and they turn around in this little teeny little narrow hallway, they look like they're gonna like knock themselves off of that thing.
Dude, have you ever been on a jet ski?
No,
It's so
dude.
easy to fall off.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's so easy to fall off.
Man.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just so cool how like there's like an elevator and he just like pulls out the shotgun, like, boom, let me shoot the controls.
Oh,
and
that was
the door
fucking
opens.
cool.
Oh no,
as
there's
hell.
another door behind it. Boom, let me shoot that. That door opens.
That was so, right
That was
out of
awesome.
Terminator 2.
Totally.
Right
It was
out of
awesome.
Terminator
You know
2.
what's crazy? Something I noticed in a couple other movies I've been watching recently. How easy is it to open locked doors with just a gun? Like, how does that
or even
make
there's
it,
a part where the
things open?
girl's stuck in she's stuck in the freezer and she just takes like an old key. She opens up all the wire controls.
Well, she had a set of jiggle
she
keys,
just,
but
she just hits it, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I see. I'm seeing some Uncharted jet ski
All right,
imagery.
Kevin has shared his screen with us. Yeah, it's exactly like it. It's a yellow Ski-Doo too, just like in Deep Fear.
There's a moment where they're going down the hallways of the boat with the jet ski, and you see an elevator. And because it's an action scene, every shot has to be like less than 2 seconds. So when they see the elevator, there's like a crash zoom, and then for no reason, it's completely unmotivated. But for some reason, you just hear like an elevator ding.
Well, I didn't know it was an elevator until you pointed it out.
No, because I think they put the elevator ding in before anything happens to help people.
Right.
Know, it's an elevator.
Because it looks like a fucking garage door. It's huge.
Like the only thing that would have been more
why would
obvious-
an elevator be like that? An elevator is enclosed on 3 sides.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's that giant elevator early in the movie that fits the entire cast in somehow.
They go in the elevator and they, doors close. They go up 2 floors. The doors open and then.
Yeah.
So
it's all in good fun.
So finally, they're able to make the right amount of speed to get down in there, and they finally jump out of the boat.
She's holding
with
up
the Ski-Doo
shoe.
and
oh yeah, that's funny.
And which is the scene from the front of the box where they're jumping out with the Ski-Doo with a big ball of fire behind them.
Oh wait, no, we didn't get them. They have to fight the fucking monster first.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that.
Okay,
we forgot about the entire like climax of the movie,
right?
Which is like a mix between the ending of Evil Dead 2 and like Men in Black. I don't know why I get a real Evil Dead 2 vibe from.
Well, they kind of had that Evil Dead. It was really quick where they like follow him on the camera, almost like I forget the term for it, but I see what you mean for sure.
Yeah, we're like, well, the monster in the movie kind of looks like what the evil looked like when they manifested at the end of Evil Dead with all like the little like spiky teeth and stuff. Yeah, it looks a lot like it.
Yeah, you're right.
But
and
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, go ahead.
It's like Jurassic Park. Like, how did this fucking giant monster get into this ballroom?
Dude, it's slithers around.
Like the end of Jurassic Park, the T-Rex like walked through the front door.
Oh yeah. How the hell did it get in?
Like he's just in the visitor center. It's the same thing. He's in this giant monster, which we haven't seen. We've just seen his like tentacles. He's in the casino part, but how the fuck did he get in there? Because there's no broken walls or anything.
He's like an actual octopus and can fit through any kind of opening, and then
or whatever. I'll buy that.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting because like so at the end he sees like the big white eye of the monster, and I forgot I don't know. He says like see you later or something like that.
What are you looking at?
Yeah, shoots the monster.
Here's
in the
looking at you, shooting you in the eye.
But yeah, like so they he shoots the monster in the eye. They kind of get out of there, and they get out of the boat just in time.
So one thing that was kind of weird. How come like no one screamed when they saw some of these things? Like,
because they were tennis balls.
Fair. Wouldn't you think like upon seeing this giant monster, someone would at least go, ah!
Yeah, you would think so.
One would assume. But they didn't know what they were looking at, I guess.
Nah, I guess
until they saw the movie.
But Kev's like, he keeps looking at GIFs.
I'm falling down a Google Images hole looking at the nastiest stuff in Deep Rising. It's a nasty movie if you look
It
at
is.
it.
You know, I think this movie would have been
surprisingly gory.
This movie would have been a really good double feature with Event Horizon, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's, oh shit, one of the guys in this is in Event Horizon, isn't he? Is there a guy? Maybe I'm wrong. I guess I'm wrong. Oh, okay. Doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Anywho, yeah, so they get out and the whole thing explodes and they end up on some deserted island, I guess.
Yeah, and it's morning.
It's Skull Island.
Immediately morning.
Skull Island.
Is it Skull Island?
Well, there's a monster.
There's a monster
island.
Maybe it's Monster Island.
Could be Monster Island. Horror.
It's definitely not Fantasy Island, which there was a trailer for.
Yeah, yeah.
In the
ABC
amalgamation
syndicated show of Monster Island,
where some guy wishes to have a mustache.
Fantasy Monster Island.
The 1998 movie Deep Rising is similar. It feels so much like Uncharted. I don't think it was a coincidence.
So somebody, oh my God, this was April 7th. This was 3-4 weeks ago.
Holy
someone
shit.
Someone on a video game message board noticed the similarities betreen Deep Rising and Uncharted.
What a coinky dink, man. Crazy
That's
that
weird.
we're talking about this now.
That's weird.
Maybe
Everyone's writing this whole message board. Great movie. Great fucking movie.
See, I guess we're not the only ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then Jeff shows up. He's not dead. He somehow gets a surfboard, and then you hear the monster on the island.
So I guess you know what? He showed up on the surfboard when I can definitely see where you said that they reshot the ending or added him back in to not die or whatever the fuck they did.
Yeah.
Because when not Nick Nolte,
Simon,
that guy,
when he goes on that ship and like blows up into the cruise ship, we see a CGI. We see a surfboard on the ship.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
And then when it blows up, the surfboard, like, you know, it like Friday the 13th 3D comes at the screen.
Yeah.
In the explosion. And assuming that, so now you know that the surfboard survived and that somehow Joey found the surfboard while he was in the ocean.
Yeah. I guess.
This whole movie's available on YouTube, by the way.
Oh, great.
Every movie's available on YouTube.
So
that's
Joey's alive.
Oh, and then there's the twist.
Yeah. The monster. And that's Deep Rising.
Well, they look around. So they turn around. Him and Treat Williams and Lady Bond are making out. And then they turn around. They're like, "What's that noise?" And we hear some ADR of some guy going, blah, 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 blah.
But like slowed down.
Yeah. Feels good. It sounds like the aliens on Sesame Street. The you know, and then we see that they landed
There's a surfboard
in Perfection, Nevada, because tremors are coming around through the mountains of this island.
Vague effect that implies there's a monster. Some trees are moving, and we hear that guy's voice. Yeah. By the way, if you go to 1 hour, 34 minutes, 47 seconds, you will see that surfboard that saves Joey.
Exactly.
Was there supposed to be a sequel plan for this? I wonder if
sure they were.
Sure seems like it.
I wonder if that island thing. Let's see if IMDb has
Deep Rising Island.
Cool? You know what would be cool? That shot with the surfboard flying up into the air. It should have. I wish Joey was hanging on to it, kind of like
CGI Joey.
Well, like, you know, like in Die Hard 2 when John McClane is like in that ejection seat, like flying up in the air from the explosion.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool coming up. Yeah, Kwanzaa. But yeah, that's
it is on IMDb. The island that the survivors became stranded on at the end of the film is more than a simple nod to King Kong and Skull Island. It was actually intended to be a lead-in to a King Kong reboot, which also would have been directed by Steven Sommers.
Okay.
That's fucking awesome. I wish they made that movie.
It was to be a response to the rather poorly received Godzilla by TriStar Pictures, which was released the same year. The idea was initially picked up, and Sommers, already attached to the upcoming Mummy reboot, expressed a strong interest in becoming involved with the project.
Wow.
The reboot wound up in development hell and eventually was passed on to other studios, becoming the basis for the 2005 remake by Peter Jackson. Wow.
Wild.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
Man, I would have much rather had this guy direct King Kong.
Steven Summers is this guy if there ever was one. I think he's okay
just terrible
with that.
with names.
No, but he really look at his portfolio. I think he genuinely wants to make these crowd pleasing blockbuster weekend VHS rental movies.
Yeah. It's fucking fun. And King Kong is a good movie. The remake, it's fucking long. It's Peter Jackson's King Kong. It's a good movie, but it's not fun. I mean, for the entire movie, where this movie's fun the entire time. And The Mummy is pretty fun the entire time.
Yeah. Just rewatching Bruce Willis blowing up at the end of Die Hard 2.
Yeah, right. It's the exact same scene, right?
If you look at it, you can see the mat doesn't quite work. You can see the explosion through John McClane. I know I'm being very nitpicky here.
Yeah.
So, Kevbot, you want to throw some ratings at us?
Yeah. So on IMDb, apparently you can get this on all kinds of formats. IMDb has 463 ratings.
And now IMDb is out of 10, right?
Or, sorry,
Yes.
Amazon. Sorry.
Amazon's out of 5.
My bad.
Amazon's out of 5.
Amazon always skews higher. I'll guess 3.8 out of 5.
Okay. Dane Train, what's your guess?
3.9.
Price is right.
T-Man,
3.7. 3.7.
4.5 out of 5 stars.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Yeah.
That's good.
boy.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's really good.
Not bad at
know.
all.
Now IMDb,
Now
those trolls.
IMDb,
I
which
feel
is
like-
out of 10 stars.
I wonder if it's
That
one of
has-
those things where this is like one of those movies, kind of like John Carpenter's The Thing, that didn't do so good at the beginning, and then 30 years later, everybody thinks it's the best movie ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll have to wait 8 more years to find out.
That's right.
All right. So IMDb has 32,000 reviews for this movie.
Holy
I know.
shankies.
And that's out of 10 stars.
Okay.
IMDb is weird because as someone who has a movie that's on IMDb, I've noticed that no matter how many 10s or 1s my movie gets, it always kind of seems to balance out at an even 7. No matter what, it seems like they
douchebag always puts in a 1 or whatever just to be a dick because he saw that you made a movie on Facebook and he didn't like you from high school or whatever, and then he gives you a 1.
No joke. I do think IMDb weighs it differently. So, and I feel like Amazon does something similar to make everything look a little bit better, to make you want to spend money, right?
True. Yeah, because IMDb, well, they own IMDb, but
they do show the rating on
they
Amazon
do have
now.
separate.
But I think if you think of it, people on Amazon will tend to rate higher because they're spending money.
Yeah, right.
to
For retail. Yeah.
And they
watch
always
this movie
rate how
somehow.
good the fucking packaging was and it shipped on time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It had interactive
Deep
menus,
Rising.
5 stars.
It's crazy how
in the 2 days.
many movies we've watched recently where it's like the 1-star review is like, I thought it was going to be in English and it was in German, 1 star. It's like that doesn't have
The movie
actually
it didn't come with closed captioning, 1 star. You know?
Right. Something similar actually happened to me because I have some collectibles that I have been selling online, and the postal service messed up the box. And the guy who I sent it to gave me a poor rating for it. Not because my packaging was bad, but because the post office messed it up. So I got 4 out of 5 stars. And it's like, I did everything.
It's not your fault.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Once it's out of my hands, and I can't dispute it. And that's bullshit.
It's like someone saying oh, I didn't fucking pay my internet bill, so the movie cut out halfway through, 1 star.
Right. Yeah. So IMDb is a little more critical. It's just people who have watched it rather than people who are paying money for it.
Yeah.
So it could just be like, I saw this on TBS 2 weeks ago. I barely remember it, but I think it was dog shit. 2 stars.
Yeah. Anyway, what are your guesses?
All right.
Kevin, you go first.
It's out of 10, right? Yeah.
A 7, because that's what everything ends up on IMDb.
I'm going to say...
Kevin says 7.
I'm going to say 4.5.
Train 4.5. T-Man.
Yeah, I think probably like a 5 or 5.5.
Is that your final answer?
That's final answer.
T-Man was closest without going over 6.1 out of 10.
Okay.
All right, guys. So out of 10,
we were gonna rate it something. What I forgot. I was like, I told you to remember it because I said I will forget it, and
I forgot about it too. Kevin, do you remember what we said we were gonna rate this movie at?
Oh no!
It was a quote from one of the guys.
What about 10 tickles?
10 tickles.
Oh, jeez.
Hey,
I love this. One of the bad DVD covers from 1998 says, Deep Rising, full scream ahead. Quote, this is from New York Daily News. It's Die Hard meets Alien meets Titanic.
Yeah, it says that on the back of my box, too.
Yeah. That's like, it certainly is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Meets Alien Resurrection.
Yeah. All right. So what are we going to rate this
There was
at?
a really good fucking quote. Man, what was it?
I'll have to watch it again.
Out of 10,
it says
what
something
nows?
to do with getting like sucked out of the toilet. It was called like, it was like getting butt sucked or something like that, right?
Butt sucked.
Was it 5 Jaws dummies out of 10 or something like that?
It's something to do with the
out of 10 screwed up math equations.
Out of 10 people getting sucked down the toilet, something like that. It was something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. We're gonna have to come up with something new. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, guys? What are we gonna call this?
Out of 10 surfboards. Out of 10
10 CGI pants.
10 CGI pants.
10 shiny CGI pants. There you go. We got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. How many pair of these shiny computer generated slacks are we going to do,
Kevin, you
guys?
are our guest, so you can go first.
Out of 10?
Out of 10.
10 shiny pants.
I'd give it an 8 because it's too damn fun to hate. But I've watched this movie 3 times now, and the 2 most recent times, all I could think was that I think it should have focused more on Kevin J. O'Connor. I thought Joey should have been the protagonist of the movie.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right.
Dane Train, what say you?
Ooh.
Shiny pants, man.
Yeah, Mr. Shiny Pants. How many shiny pants you got?
What kind of shiny pants you want?
All right. Get your sunglasses, guys. It's about to get real bright around here with all the shine. I'm about to give this movie, I'm going to give it 9 out of 10 pairs of shiny slacks from some guy getting eaten by a CGI monster sea slug.
Did you say soup monster?
Soup monster sea slugs.
Soup monster sea slugs.
Maybe that's what it was. Total poopy soup or something. I feel like.
Yeah, poopy soups.
I don't know.
Soups? I don't know. But either way, yeah, I like it. It's a great like Friday night rental popcorn flick to watch with your buddies. It's great. I enjoyed it a lot. I liked it more now that I remember liking it when I watched it in 1998 or 1999, whenever the hell it came out. And I like it a lot more than every other movie that came out that we talked about during this time, including Two Tape Titanic and all the other bozo movies that came out at that time. This is the supreme movie that came out at that time. I think this movie's outstanding. 9 out of 10. Everybody should see this. Like I said, this is the kind of movie that I think it's going to be a big cult classic.
What would give it 1 extra shiny pants?
What would give it 1 extra shiny pants? Boobies.
More CGI shiny pants.
Maybe if there were some boobies in the movie. There were no boobies in the movie.
That's true. The Bond girl had a white t-shirt and she's surrounded by water, but we never get a wet t-shirt.
No.
Well, missed opportunity.
Yeah. Other than that, the movie was super fun. Super fun. I loved it. It was great.
What if Jim Varney was in the film? If he had a cameo,
God,
that
a big old snake over here. There, you know what I mean, Vern?
That's my answer to every what would make a movie better.
I can just see him doing the big old sea snakes.
I just made the sea snake motel. The sea snake's been hunting humans all day. He's a little tired. He sees the sea snake motel, thinks, yep, I'm gonna take me a rest, smoke a cigarette, watch a little look of the cable TV, and refresh for the morning to eat some more people.
And then we got him. I love how you just did like a 1-to-1 monologue from Ernest Scared Stupid. I know the exact scene.
It's my favorite movie of all time.
That movie's great. I'm more of a goes to jail man, but that's another
I
conversation.
understand. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Also, so go pitch Ernest Roulette. Pitch Ernest Roulette.
Yeah.
Well, if your listeners could put up with me throughout this podcast, I know I probably hogged most of the airwaves. My friends Ryan Neal and I once spent a year reviewing all 10 Ernest P. Worrell films. And we did a video podcast. It was a big production. It's called Ernest Roulette. We actually had some special guests. One of the guys from Red Letter Media, Jack Packard, liked the show so much he flew out to Massachusetts to be on the show. And yeah, it's a wonderful. I'm proud of it. It's we got in early on the Ernest bandwagon when
the Ernest podcast bandwagon.
Yeah, there's several shows, but Ernest Roulette, as we say every episode, is the only Ernest podcast with a wheel.
It's fucking great. Go watch it now.
Yeah, it's great stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And everybody was wearing an Ernest costume every episode. So,
all right, T-Man, what? How many shiny pants are you going to give it?
I'm also, like Kevin, gonna give it 8 shiny CGI pants.
Ooh.
Because I mean, it's a good movie and it's fucking fun as hell. I can't really think of anything bad because like the CGI is like, it's endearing at this point. You know what I mean? Like it's not bothered. Like I fucking hate CGI for the most part, unless it's, done well or whatever. And there is some well done CGI, but like it's just like a time capsule of this era when everything was fucking CGI.
Yeah, it was too ambitious at times, but the stuff that does work in it is surprisingly good for 22 years old.
Right. And it's like the equivalent of bad practical effects, but CGI. So it's more endearing than it is like intrusive. But yeah, I mean, it's a fucking fun movie and I would rewind.
All right.
Kevbot.
It's down to you. Oh, he's doing the thing where he puts the finger over her lips like he's scheming something. He's got a secret to hide.
He's being pensive.
Ooh.
2, 4, 1.
Did you watch it alone or did you watch it with someone?
I watched it by myself.
He watched it with his 2-year-old son.
Yeah. Who loved the movie.
He gave it where the guy was being digested alive.
He gave it 10 out of 10 wet diapers
for the rest of his life.
I'm going to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10 shiny pants.
Wow, you liked it more than I did.
So that's
going into it knowing
8
nothing
in one
about
pair of
it,
shorts?
it was. What's that?
Is that 8 pants and 1 pair of shorts?
Yeah, 1 pair of what do they call them? High risers because of all the water.
Okay, yeah. I got you.
Going in blind to this movie, not having known anything about it before, it was. I don't want to say surprisingly good, but my expectations were very low.
It's one of those movies that you're surprised you hadn't seen it before, right? Like, because it's kind of checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
I was
sorry. I'm trying not to sound like a dick, just being like, I didn't.
Fuck you, Kevin James.
I didn't want to watch this movie at all, and it turns out I really liked it. No, it was just I keep my expectations low because
that's our show, man.
That's our show. I'll literally watch anything. I won't like everything, but I'll watch anything.
At least the dog didn't die.
It had great effects. I loved the whole cast and can pinpoint like, oh, that dude's from that dude's from that person's from that.
Yeah.
And it didn't. It felt like it went pretty quick, and yeah, I can see where you'd get the video game similarities, and I think it was missing a Clint Howard though. If you have Clint Howard in there,
that would have gave you the other half of a point.
Oh, that'd probably make it 10 out of 10.
We deserved a
It'd be
Clint
Uncharted.
Howard. We need a Clint Howard, Jim Varney buddy cop movie.
Oh,
my God.
man.
More so now than ever.
Even if you put someone like that just as like a co-captain or something like that, being like,
Yeah, just
what
a
the hell is
cameo.
that? Sir, all our systems are out.
Dude,
to take a shit in the toilet and it ate my butt off.
that's literally him in House of the Dead when he's like, why do they always ask why?
Why
Yeah.
do they always eat my butt?
Even if he got shot, like even if he was one of the people who got shot in the vault, but was still kind of made just a cameo of some sort, just throw a little money his way, you know.
That would have been great. Even if he was the guy who got his butt eaten in the movie, that would have been great.
Right.
His butt
Yeah.
eaten.
Why am I in the vault so I can eat my brickleberry ice cream?
Yeah, he got
Brickleberry.
locked
It was
in the
good.
freezer.
The effects were good. Nothing really felt like too cheesy, and yeah, it was a good movie.
Nothing
I liked
felt
it.
too cheesy.
Well, no,
This
no,
whole
not
movie
like
is too cheesy.
nothing was like you know.
It's a cheesy gordita.
It didn't
Yeah.
take itself seriously at the wrong moments. Like it didn't
Yeah.
become like a melodramatic horror film.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. It wasn't an Ed Wood giant squid, you know, coming out in the casino.
That would have gave
It
me
wasn't.
a 10 out of 10, man.
Yeah.
If it was just a big rubber
Some
squid.
guy in a suit.
I would have loved that.
Just roll around in it.
Yeah, Bela Lugosi. Fuck you. You get in here.
So
Ed Wood's so good.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Whoa.
Well, I think that's gonna wrap up this episode. Blah, 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 excuse me. Kevin, is there anything else you'd like to give a cheap plug to? I mean, we've already covered a lot. But
Oh my God, no! I've already shamelessly plugged all my stuff, and the
Plug
moment we're
it.
done,
wrong
All
with
your stuff
that.
is great, dude. Seriously, Kevin James is
shush.
an incredibly talented filmmaker. The Creed is fucking awesome. Everything you do, man, I'm always impressed. Seriously.
oh, you're too
that's
kind.
awful nice of you, Topher.
Thank you. What was Topher? I always forget, and I loved the movie, but I can't remember the name of it. The one you start in where you prick your finger at the beginning, and the whole movie, The Dissolving Man.
The Dissolving Man, yes.
I love The Dissolving Man, and I got to
Thank
meet your
you.
effects. I got to meet your effects guy after it screened at the Brattle Theater a couple of years ago.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and he had like nothing but good things to say about working with you. And I was like, wait, yeah, I
Oh,
know that
that's
guy.
great.
Like I know him through a friend of mine. Like,
Yeah, and I know you know Jeff Tiberi,
yep.
who of 8-bit X-Bit Gaming on Facebook, this huge thing. And he helped out with the documentary, or he helped
Yeah.
kickstart it, I think.
Oh my God, he's a big shot now. He like blew up out of nowhere on
Right.
Facebook gaming and all that. He's like a personality for Facebook now.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him. He's fucking awesome.
Oh, he's a wonderful guy. He's got
yeah.
like these. You guys would like him. He has knuckle tats, and they're all Super Nintendo and PlayStation symbols.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's got his whole body is like it's like Nintendo Power threw up on his body and tattooed itself. In the best way possible. I don't.
Jeff's great.
So Jeff, if you're listening, I mean that in an endearing way.
Jeff loves video games in a way that like he recommends them like a fine wine. Like he'll like talk to you, and after 5 minutes he'll go, you know what, you need to play Saturday Night Slam Master.
Oh man. Anyway,
Crazy.
so I got off on a tangent there, but
Yeah.
plug some stuff because all your stuff is fucking awesome.
I'm running out of things I've worked on. We already talked about Guaranteed Audio and The Creed and Not for Resale
When,
and Ernest Roulette.
When we
Gunfuck
were,
City.
when we were in college, he made this movie called Gunfuck City, and we need to do a VHS Bandits home video release of Gunfuck City at some point. So
Thank you so much for having me on the show, by the way. I
it's
know
been
you,
a long time coming, dude. Long time coming to do this.
I've listened to this show all across the world. Like whenever I'm traveling, like, and I'm burning through podcasts, this is like my go-to because I feel like I'm back in New England.
All right.
Like whenever I have to sell people on the show, my elevator pitch is like, okay, you know how there's like countless movie review shows? Well, imagine if you had like a bunch of guys with like Northwestern, like Massachusetts accents. Like they sound like they're truckers at a diner going like, oh man, you see that Mario picture? Oh man. Like I love it. Like,
You want to see a good Mario picture? You watch this Mario movie.
oh yeah, there's only one, man. No, but like I've been listening since you guys were like eating Burger King before every episode. Like I love this show so much, and I'm so glad you're still doing it. And I meant to hit you up earlier. I can ask after we stop recording. I got to ask about what it was like having like Rob Schrab hit you up on Instagram and all that.
Oh man, that was like
Dream
real
come
quick.
true.
Yeah, that was like a legitimate like dream come true. Like that just kind of came out of nowhere. Where literally like here's this guy that we have been like following his stuff since we were like teenagers, and and yeah, so it's crazy, you know. So, but yeah, that's that. So
yeah, I knew Dane was cool when I met him in Fitchburg at Fitchburg State College, and he was the only other person I met who was watching Channel 101 at the time.
oh yeah, yeah, good stuff, good stuff. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Cool.
Take us out of here, Kev Bunt.
All right, everybody, thank you very much for listening to this episode. And Patreon members, thank you very much for being Patreon members. If you want to be a Patreon member, is this a Patreon episode? I can't remember.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Is it? I don't know.
Patreon listeners, thank you very much for your support, including yours, your support, Kevin.
Hey, no problem. I
Thank
love
you
your
very
show.
much. Thanks everybody for listening. I am the Kevbot. Thank you very much. These are my co-hosts, the Deep Rising Dane Train and the Tentacle Topher Hansen, and our wonderful special guest, Kevin James.
Oh, thank you very much.
As always, be kind and rewind.